All right, now once we get YouTube caught up, we will go ahead and get started. I think we should be good to go. Well, how's everybody doing? Hey, Bruce, how are you? Go ahead and do these shout outs. These shout outs. Yo, did y'all hear Debbie Wasserman Schultz today? Did you all happen to hear what she said, what she did, or what she didn't do? We're gonna be talking about it. Hey, Liz, what's up? I don't know if she got on in time for me to hear it, so I'll shout her out again. Y'all, if y'all ever see me squinting, it's because I need glasses. I do wear glasses actually, but I am a broke American, and my mom gets me my discounts on my eyewear, and I haven't seen my mom in like 6 months. So, and she keeps getting on me, telling me I need to go get another eye exam and get my glasses updated. But YouTube, how we doing? How we doing, YouTube? Y'all can let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. I see Facebook has me in loud and clear. Once again, shout out to Elizabeth. I owe you a kitten, and he's about ready to get on up out of here because he's driving me crazy. He's driving me. He's a playful little guy. Y'all gonna love him. For those of you who are watching either via YouTube or Facebook, please share this link. This is actually some pretty crazy stuff. It's things that I've been saying, and things that I've been thinking as well. But apparently, a U.S. attorney actually feels the exact same way I do, and he even gives some damn good precedents as to why he feels that way. I'm not sure if a lot of you have heard this yet, so we'll go ahead and let the audience build up. Everybody says on YouTube y'all can hear me loud and clear also. Awesome. Eric, I actually do not use reading glasses, although I probably should. I have astigmatism, so there's like, it doesn't matter if it's near, far, I'm blind as they come. For real, I'm super blind. I said I got Jenny. I got who is Jamaro? Jenny just called me Jamaro. I mean, I know who Jamaro is, but I'm not him. See, Duck Love Mom. I got Pax Disturbia. We'll do a couple more shout outs and we'll get started here pretty shortly. Like I said, everybody, if you don't mind sharing this link out, we'll greatly appreciate it. It's some kind of breaking information, I would say. Man, it's like the first time like YouTube we're actually able to like y'all can hear me for the in the beginning instead of us having to play with it. Yeah, I know I'm still getting used to the YouTube live stream, but we're getting there. I actually look like a radio show host now. Thanks to you all in Patreon, and y'all have helped out tremendously. Thanks to everyone who has joined the one follow $1 campaign. I really can't thank you all enough. We are almost to our goal of $1,000, which is like, whoa! Can't believe it, honestly. Marcella, I'm not exactly sure why you're not getting sound because everyone else is getting sound. You might need to turn on your phone. What's going on, Paul? You mean you might need to turn up your phone, I should say. All right, so let me just share this YouTube link and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, Jenny, Jamaro and Niko. So, Jenny on YouTube, Jenny Ray called me Jamaro Thomas, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've been up since 5 a.m." Jamaro and Niko are two completely different categories of names. Jenny, we got some problems. We got problems for that. I'm a little I think I might hold a grudge with you for the rest of the night for that. Not to mention, me and Jamar are like two different people. You trying to say because me and Jamar are both black that our names must be the same thing? It's okay, Jenny. It's okay. I'll forgive you. Actually, I can sing, believe it or not. I just don't do it very often. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing well? Thank you all so much for tuning in. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Niko House, and I am host of the political radio show Mikasa Sukasa. And if you are listening for the first time, I urge you all to join our One Follow $1 campaign that was started by myself, Tim Black, H.A. Goodman, Hard Bastard, and we have welcomed in Insight News Network as well. If you're on YouTube, you can actually find those links in the description button. You can go to Patreon, look up Mikasa Sukasa. Just donate $1 or $5 or whatever. And let's just show the establishment media that we don't need them, because we clearly don't. Like, I would at this point just rather not have information than deal with the constant influx of propaganda that we've been seeing as of late. So, and we really it's so important to take care of your independent journalists now, because as you all know, YouTube has been essentially trying to eliminate us by ensuring that we can't rely on journalism as a financial means to make ends meet. And that can't be. There's people like Tim Black, H.A. Goodman, Hard Bastard, even other people that I don't necessarily agree with that rely on, their talent and their abilities to make ends meet. And I feel like if you're great at something, you're dedicated to something, and more importantly, your message is coming from at least a perspective that is not corporate backed, then you deserve to get paid for the labor and the hours and your own money that you put into your talent. And to be totally honest, YouTube and Google have been trying to strip us of that. So for those of you who are already part of the One Follow $1 campaign, thank you all so much. For those of you who want to be part of it, like I said, you can go to my Patreon. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description. If you're on Facebook, just www.patreon.com/Mikasa. If you're on YouTube, you can always, of course, drop a super chat, and those are more than welcome as well. A lot of you all were super generous over the last couple of videos, and I really appreciate it. So I just had to do that because I feel like I don't thank you all enough for what you all have allowed me to do as a journalist. So thank you all so much. But moving forward, so as most of you all know, Imran Awan, who was formerly Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT staffer, was indicted, weirdly enough, after he tried to flee the country. Now, when I say weirdly enough, I mean he should have been indicted even before that. But he was indicted, and he was indicted on 4 counts, mostly to do with bank fraud. Now, obviously, this development of events has been a little interesting because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it's really interesting. Like, you can be the most idiotic person in the fucking country at this point and still become a congressman or a congresswoman. It is that easy. I'm convinced. Because not only does Debbie Wasserman Schultz say stupid things, but instead of owning up to them and reconciling those things, she doubles down on them. Like, she, even with the primary, she did the same thing. She was like, yeah, I know I cheated, and me cheating actually not only cost us the election, but it cost us most of the seats in the country, and we even lost seats that we weren't even supposed to lose. We lost states that we haven't lost in 2 decades that are considered, they're supposed to be swing states, but the Democrats hadn't lost them in 2 decades. And she's like, but I'd do it all again. You would literally screw your entire party and in a lot of ways the entire country up again just to get Hillary Clinton elected. Come on. But not only has she echoed these sentiments about Hillary Clinton and just the election in general, but she's also said the same thing about Imran Awan. Actually, she just readdressed the press today. And her statements were as follows. So when obviously we know that she was going to make a statement, and for those of you who are not from Florida, South Florida, um, believe it or not, the most of the papers down here do whatever they can to make Debbie Wasserman Schultz look like she is not an evil bitch. And let's be very clear. There's probably the only thing that makes Debbie Wasserman Schultz a little less evil than Hillary Clinton is that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is actually stupid enough to keep implicating herself in situations that she will thrive. Like, she won't even thrive that much. Like, she wouldn't become president. Uma Abedin is Hillary's right-hand woman. Like, what would she get? What would she, like, is it really worth all of this? Because not only is she not going to be congresswoman probably by the end of this election, she's probably going to be in jail. Like, so the only thing that makes her less evil than Hillary Clinton is the fact that she's an idiot. So, like, that's probably the only thing differentiating them. Now, Hillary's pretty stupid her damn self, but she's an idiot. Like, she's stupider than Hillary Clinton is. Now, she said, give me a second. She said that she felt that Imran Awan and his family were victims of racial discrimination and ethnic discrimination. She said that she didn't believe that due process was being held, and that she had to keep him on staff to ensure that his due process was being taken. Now I'm saying, now that sounds like a legitimate argument. That, I mean, under most circumstances, that actually would probably be a home run argument. Except Imran's wife fled the country with $12,000, which is a felony, by the way. Fled the country under federal investigation. So although at that point in time, Imran Awan and his wife nor his family had been indicted with anything, it's probably safe to say that they did a lot of illegal stuff. And if at the very, 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 very bare minimum, they did a lot of unethical things. I think that's pretty fair to say, right? For everybody, it's pretty fair to say. Now, what irritates me about her statement is that we see the same Democratic game being played as we always see. Oh, I broke all the rules because he's Muslim, and I thought that, you know, even though he is clearly breaking laws, that he is being discriminated against. This guy and Imran Awan and his family were able to collect millions of dollars, and no one knows what the hell they were doing to get the money. The family barely came to work. Okay. The wife never came to work. They didn't do anything, and somehow they ended up becoming millionaires. Okay. So I'm not saying that, I mean, obviously, like, Islamophobia is a legitimate concern in this country, but what the problem is, and this is why the right will sometimes get so irritated, because in situations where people should legitimately be held accountable for their actions, the Democrats pull shit like this. The Democrats say, oh yeah, you know, it's got to be because he's a Muslim. That's why they're trying to indict him for $300,000 worth of bank fraud right before he left the country. And that $300,000 he sent to fucking Pakistan. His wife left the country with $12,000, which is a felony. And even though she was stopped by the FBI, she wasn't even charged with anything. So if the logic you want to use is, oh, he's being racially discriminated against or ethnically discriminated against, is, oh, well, I thought that he wasn't getting his due process. The wife got more than her due process. She got escorted out with $12,000 worth of illegal money, knowing that she was under a federal investigation. Talk about due process. Imran Awan was released on bail. Ladies and gentlemen, he was released on bail. He was a clear flight risk. Right? When someone tried to leave the country under a federal investigation with thousands of dollars in their briefcase, like, That is the definition of a flight risk. There are people who are on probation for speeding tickets that can't leave their cities over a $200 speeding ticket. Okay? This isn't even a misdemeanor. This is an infraction that people are under probation over. And you're telling me that Imran Awan and his family can leave the country with hundreds of thousands of dollars total, commit bank fraud, get arrested for it, finally. When they finally do get arrested and they finally do get them into custody, he's released on bail? He's on a flight? Man, that is the hell. If more minorities were discriminated against like that, you would have way less complaints from us in America. I tell you what. If that's the definition of discrimination, what? Man, dog, that's my kind of discrimination right there. Let me post my bail after I just tried to flee the country with $300,000 and then some cash. After I sent my wife, who was under investigation, out of the country. If that is discrimination, well, boy, howdy, sign me up. I'm ready. I need that because this getting jumped by cops thing. Obviously, I didn't qualify for that discrimination over there. I didn't qualify for the getting jumped or for the getting out of jail free card after I tried to flee the country under federal investigation. I qualified for the you get jumped in the middle of the street with 6 cops when you're trying to break up a fight between 2 other people. I got that form of it. So whatever discrimination Debbie Wasserman Schultz is talking about, we need to make sure that everybody can get that, because apparently that's not getting your due process. He got more due process. Imran Awan got more due process than anyone else ever in his situation in history. I can almost guarantee that. That is a ridiculous excuse for not firing someone who is clearly committed wrongdoing, whether it be proven legally at the time. At the very bare minimum, it was unethical, and I think that we can all agree with that. At the very, very, very bare minimum, it was unethical. Duck Love Mom said unethical may be too kind. And I totally agree. But, I mean, it's clearly what he did was illegal. Like, very clearly. So, a U.S. attorney actually felt the same way I did. Former U.S. attorney. So, his name is Andrew McCarthy III. He was a former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, and he actually led the prosecution against Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, and 11 others for the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Now, he says there is something very strange about the recent indictment filed against Imran Awan and his wife, Ina Alvi, in the District of Columbia. In a National Review article, McCarthy points out that it's not what the indictment is that's necessarily surprising, but rather what it is seemingly intentionally omitting. Now, for instance, McCarthy points out that the indictment appears to go out of its way not to mention that Imran Awan was apprehended while in the process of fleeing the country. In fact, that actually, according to the attorney, would seem to be the best evidence available to prove the current fraud charges that Imran Awan had been indicted for. Now, and this is from the attorney, let's say you're a prosecutor in Washington. You're investigating a husband and a wife, naturalized Americans, who you believe have scammed a federal credit union out of $300,000. You catch them in several false statements about their qualifications for a credit line and their intended use of that money. The strongest part of your case, though, involves the schemers transferring the loot to their native Pakistan. So what is the best evidence you could possibly have, the slam dunk proof that their goal was to steal the money and never look back? That's easy. One after the other, the wife and husband pulled up stakes and tried to hightail it to Pakistan after they wired funds there. And specifically, they wired the $300,000 that they said was supposed to be used for properties in the United States, which is a huge freaking deal, okay? It's a huge damn deal. The wife successfully fled. The husband nabbed as he was about to board the flight. Well, here's a particular thing. This is still from the attorney, by the way. Here's the particular thing about the Justice Department's indictment of Imran Awan and Hina Alvi. The alleged fraudster couple who doubled as IT wizards for Debbie Wasserman Schultz and many other congressional Democrats. There's not a word in it about the flight to Pakistan. The indictment undertakes to describe in detail 4 counts of bank fraud conspiracy, false statements on credit applications, and unlawful monetary transactions, yet leaves out the most damning evidence of guilt. Huh. Interesting. In fact, according to the U.S. Attorney, former U.S. Attorney McCarthy, it seems that they're going out of their way not to mention it. Now, wow. It's very clear to me, and this is just from my personal experiences and just what I know with my limited knowledge of law, and when someone is making an attempt to essentially BS. Now, I feel, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel that they're just trying to use the bank fraud as a means to take a plea deal and keep Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the federal government out of it. I think that what we are seeing right now is fraud itself. Because, like the attorney says, we know for a fact this man tried to leave the country. We know for a fact that the woman tried to leave the country. And according to McCarthy, guess what? Even the wife leaving with that amount of cash is a felony. She should have been arrested at that very moment that they caught her trying to leave the country with the money. Damn the federal investigation, because that's a whole different can of worms. But just if I, totally innocent, like never got charged with anything whatsoever, straight arrow, whatever. If I did that, try to leave the country with $12,000 to $15,000, I'd be arrested. You would be arrested. Anybody else would be arrested. But the attorney says not only does it look like they went out of their way not to arrest her, but it looks like they assisted her with getting out of the country unscathed as far as the legal matter is concerned. Now, once again, I got to ask the question, what kind of damn racism is this? I don't think they're getting discriminated against at all. I think that there's a good chance that Debbie Wasserman Schultz might be lying to us, everybody. Now, I don't want to be too presumptuous of the honorable Congresswoman. Honorable. Woo! Honorable. Oh, that was funny. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. I don't want to say that the honorable Debbie Wasserman Schultz is lying to us or trying to pull the old 1-2 on us. But I think that Debbie Wasserman Schultz might be trying to get over on us, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that these courts are about to try to help her. And I have a feeling, and if y'all don't mind, I would like to take a couple of seconds to do this. I can almost guarantee it. When I look up the attorney who brought the charges, the indictment specifically against Imran Awan and his wife, I can almost 100% guarantee that somewhere, somehow, some way, the phrase Clinton Foundation is going to be found by his name. I'm almost positive. Y'all mind if I take a couple of seconds to figure that out real quick? Give me a second. We're going to find this out together. Let's find this out together. Let's see if we can make a new discovery today. I think we're going to find out real quick. So for those of you who are curious, when I'm looking up information, So for background information, I'll actually use Google Scholar for a lot of sociological scholarship, historic scholarship, regional scholarship, and things like that to understand the background of a situation. But I use Bing and DuckDuckGo when I'm trying to look for some facts because Google is going to lie to you. So let's find out what attorney indicted Imran. Yes, we know he was indicted. We know y'all are late. Can you believe that a lot of these news, the the Christian Post, a lot of these news publications are like saying that this is breaking news today. So like they're kind of off by a lot. But if I recall, I want to say it was the U.S. attorney for D.C. that actually filed. Give me a second. Yes, the U.S. Attorney's Office for District of Columbia. Oh, this is about to be easy. I cannot remember the name. Hold on, give me 1 second. So for those of you who are just joining, what we are about to find out, which I'm sure most of us probably already know the answer to this question, we are going to find out whether or not live, we're going to find out whether or not the U.S. attorney who brought the indictment and the charges against Imran Awan is being purposely deceptive because he's connected to Clinton somehow. And I'm pretty sure that we already know the answer to that. Channing Phillips. Let's find out. Let's do some more digging, shall we? So Channing Phillips. We're gonna use Bing. We're gonna try Bing first, okay? We're gonna try to Bing first. Sometimes I hate going out of my way to look this stuff up because, like I said, most of us kind of already know the answer that we're going to get. But it's always nice to have, factual proof. I'm just going to literally look up Channing Phillips Clinton Foundation. What a surprise. How did I know? I don't know why every time the name Obama comes up, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Awan, emails, IT, and foundation, usually somebody somewhere is connected to all of them. It's so easy at this point. So, give me a second. I'm going to read to you what I just found. Ugh, it's not loading fast enough. Give me a second, y'all. There we go. Give me a second. There we found the article that finally loaded. So for those of you who are wondering, Channing Phillips is the U.S. attorney for D.C., which is important to know because there's a difference between the U.S. attorney and then the U.S. attorney for D.C. and then the U.S. attorney general, which I think some people kind of get confused with. So understand that the U.S. attorney is different than the U.S. attorney general, and then the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia is the one that's going to be bringing the charges against Imran Awan, and not the U.S. Attorney General of D.C. So make sure you're mindful of that when you're doing your own research. But so essentially, he was actually involved in which is obvious at this point, right? Y'all gonna laugh about this. Y'all gonna laugh. Channing Phillips was nominated, in 2015 by Obama, and was very soon after that given his position in the middle of the email scandal. Yeah. So, to Republican committee chair, this is from February 19th, 2016. So, literally, they brought in a brand new U.S. attorney to deal with Clinton, a Democratic U.S. attorney to deal with Clinton. Right? Okay. So, two Republican committee chairmen argue otherwise in regards to, the fact that she lied, because she did, like that she perjured herself. Clinton was defending herself and Bill Clinton was defending Hillary, saying that she didn't lie. They disagreed with them. They said the 4 pages of sworn testimony by Secretary Clinton described herein are incompatible with the FBI's findings, wrote the Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, and House Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz in a letter to the U.S. Attorney Channing Phillips. Now, Chaffetz and Goodlatte told the U.S. Attorney that Clinton had testified under oath before Benghazi, which she did, obviously. During her October 22nd, 2015 testimony, Clinton also fielded questions from Representative Jim Jordan about her email practices, which, if you have not seen the Jim Jordan interview or the Jim Jordan cross-examination with James Comey, that is crazy. James Comey pretty much throws everyone under the bus. So I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen that, go look up the Jim Jordan questioning of James Comey. But essentially, what she did was a felony. And the U.S. Attorney, specifically this one, actually had a chance to deal with this. And he didn't do anything. He did not do a damn thing. Now, what I find funny about all this, and we're going to keep looking up a little bit more, but what I find funny about all this, which I'm sure some of you do as well, is that weirdly enough, Obama appoints a U.S. attorney when literally everything is about to, pop off. You're about to have the Hillary Clinton email scandal. You're about to have the Benghazi. You did have the Benghazi thing coming up, and you knew that that hearing was coming. You knew that that obviously the primaries were going to be rigged. Like, that was very clear from the beginning. You knew that there was going to be a lot of illegal practices, right? I mean, there was no way that Obama is that stupid that he didn't know. So, once again, what it looks like it comes down to is that this guy was planted specifically, which is why I did not want Hillary Clinton to become president, because I didn't want her to become president for this very reason right here. If she was able to elect the Supreme Court justices, we would be screwed. There would be no one who was involved in the fraud, who was involved in the Clinton email scandal, who was involved in this Imran Awan shit. There would be no one being held accountable. And this is just a U.S. attorney of the District of Columbia, where he had plenty of opportunity to hold Hillary Clinton accountable. Plenty of it. And guess what? Even though the Judiciary Committee sent all that information to the U.S. Attorney, when's the last time we heard about the Benghazi situation? When's the last time we heard about it? Other than when the Republicans talk about it. Now, some people will call the Benghazi situation a witch hunt. And I used to think that maybe somewhere along the lines it might have been a witch hunt to a degree. But knowing everything that we know about Hillary Clinton right now, it probably, even though it may be a witch hunt, it's likely that there's something to it. And it should be investigated. But instead, it was like just thrown to the side by this U.S. attorney, Channing Phillips. It's very clear that that's exactly what happened, that it was thrown to the side. And so because of that, you saw Hillary Clinton essentially able to skate on Benghazi. Now, what is the main difference? Now, this is where we got to use our critical thinking skills. What's the main difference? The same thing that they always say with the Democratic Party. What was the main difference? The difference was Howard Dean cared more about the party than he did Hillary Clinton at the time, which is why Obama was finally allowed to take his place as the primary winner. So the biggest difference in the primary was Howard Dean and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Now, the biggest difference in this scenario, why would Hillary Clinton be able to skate? Why was she able to skate in such a degree? Well, the two main differences, ladies and gentlemen, who was the U.S. Attorney General then, who was the U.S. Attorney of District of Columbia then, versus the U.S. Attorney General now. The Jeff Sessions not only has obviously his job he has to worry about, but he also has his he doesn't want his resolve as a Republican questioned. I mean, that's just it's party politics. But that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is that there was no one who was going to prosecute her. There was no one who was going to indict her. And Channing Phillips actively facilitated this stagnation in prosecuting or indicting Hillary Clinton. So this is extremely problematic, don't you think? There's a clear conflict of interest. So the person who was stagnant, literally everyone else found a reason. I mean, any objective person knows that Hillary Clinton broke the law. Even if you say she didn't break it on Benghazi, she damn sure broke it with this email scandal. There are people who are prosecuted and sentenced to years in jail, privates in the military, who are sentenced to years in jail just for sending an encrypted email that they weren't supposed to, that they didn't classify correctly. Years over one email. Okay? This isn't setting up a damn meth lab of private servers in your damn in your kitchen. That's just sending an email accidentally. So we have Channing Phillips, and he hasn't done anything, and it looks like he has never planned on doing anything. In fact, I'm looking up statements from Channing Phillips, and nothing. He doesn't ever actually openly talk about any of this stuff. He doesn't openly talk about how, where he's going to go for with the case, which is obviously done on purpose. It's done like so that if he talks, then there's no good that can come of it, really. At this point, what can he say? He's going to piss off his party, or he's going to piss off or he's going to say the truth and implicate everybody. So it's very clear, where his loyalties are going to lie. I'm trying to find out what. Hell, we can probably go to. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out if there's any more connections with Phillips to the Clintons. I mean, the fact that Obama appointed him is a pretty clear sign that it's a pretty clear sign that this guy is obviously wrapped up. Give me 1 second, everybody. Just trying to. The hell? Oh. Jenny Phillips, U.S. Attorney. Let's look at some history for Channing Phillips. Because I'm just the reason I feel like it's necessary to go over this with you all is because, well, to be very clear. Oh no! Oh God! Y'all gonna laugh at this shit. Whoo! Y'all gonna laugh at this shit. Before I continue, YouTube, if y'all want to show the super chat some love, that would be greatly appreciated. And those of you who are just joining, please join our one follow $1 campaign on Patreon. Just donate $1. And we would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to H.A. Goodman, Tim Black, Harbassador, Inside News Network, who are also part of that one follow $1 campaign. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, show the super chat some love. I appreciate it. Y'all want me to read y'all this article real quick about Channing Phillips? Y'all gonna love it. Anyway, so President Barack Obama has nominated Channing Phillips to be the new U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Phillips is currently... Y'all want to see the date of this article? This October the 8th, 2015. This is what we call crony politics. Phillips, as of October the 8th, 2015, is currently the counselor to Attorney General Loretta Lynch and the former prosecutor for the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm going to repeat that for y'all again, for those of you who do not hear that or don't understand what that means. So, as of October 2015, Barack Obama nominated Channing Phillips to be the new U.S. Attorney of the District of Columbia, where Phillips, at that time, October 2015, was the counselor of Attorney General Loretta Lynch, the same Attorney General who lied about the tarmac meeting, the same Attorney General who is likely about to be indicted, the same Attorney General who perjured herself, the same Attorney General who said we're going to not act or we're going to take whatever decision the FBI recommends and deal with it that way for Hillary Clinton's emails. The same stagnant Attorney General who lied under oath. The same Attorney General who has no idea how to do her damn job says that, yeah, the FBI can choose whether to prosecute. My job is pretty much worthless. That Attorney General. I'm tripping right now. So, talk about the damn revolving door. They took a corrupt Attorney General, or took a counselor of a corrupt Attorney General who helped the corrupt Attorney General, who was obviously close friends with Loretta Lynch. And if you're close friends with Loretta Lynch, it's a high probability that you're probably close friends with the Clintons and Obama. And at least, to a degree, you're going to do what you can for Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because it was likely in the deal that no matter what happens, Loretta Lynch is going to do what she can at the very highest level. But when everything was going to be coming out up to this point, they needed someone in the DC level to stop everything from happening. When you get something across the table, lose that shit. That's pretty much where we're at right now. When you get something across your table, lose it. Make sure you don't find it. When you hear this Benghazi shit, just be like, just kind of push it to the side. You hear this Clinton email scandal shit, just, hey, I don't know nothing about no email scandal, y'all. I ain't get that. I didn't get that paperwork. Did you email it to me? It could have went to my spam folder. I didn't check my spam yet.
I'll check when I get back to the office. But just resend it if you didn't send it. Make sure you don't have no links in it, because sometimes the links will send it to spam. Just make sure that All right, I'm not really gonna check it though. That's pretty much what we're dealing with right now. So what that ultimately means is that the person who is going to be dealing with this situation, the same person who brought federal indictment charges that have nothing to do with anything that we're pissed off at Imran about. Like, yeah, this what we're dealing with is more so the result of what we're pissed off at Awan about. Like, he committed bank fraud because he was running. He ran because he was guilty of what he did before. He took the money because he wasn't going to be able to make anymore. Like, he lied because he was lying about what he was guilty of before. At this very moment, we could have indicted Imran Awan on literally probably anything else. Trying to flee the country with that amount of money, trying to flee the country, period, under federal investigation. I mean, hacking server. There's so much other irrefutable proof like that we could have indicted Imran Awan and his wife and his family under. But they choose bank fraud. That's what they choose. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And the U.S. attorney even acknowledges it, or the former U.S. attorney, McCarthy, even acknowledges it. He's like, that's insane. Why would you not talk about because what you all, I don't know if you all know this, but because they did not admit that statement into the indictment saying that he tried to flee the country, that there is an opportunity for the defending attorney, the defending counsel, to say, well, because they did not admit that part into the indictment, the fact that he tried to leave the country, the fact that he tried to leave the country with a bunch of money, the fact that he tried to leave the country right after he transferred $300,000 to Pakistan, the fact that he tried to leave the country right after his wife successfully fled under federal investigation, the fact that he tried to flee the country himself under federal investigation, because none of that was mentioned, there is a good chance that the defendant will then tell the judge, we need to keep this out of the case, and that can no longer be taken into consideration because it was not included, because that would be a separate charge. That would be like a separate indictment, really. And so because of that, they could skate on everything. Now, it's the U.S. Attorney's job to bring those charges. The U.S. Attorney of District of Columbia's job to bring those charges against him. And it looks like we're being played once again. It's getting a little ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a little ridiculous. And I'm an optimistic person. I really am. I'm really an optimistic person. I do believe that ultimately people's personal interests do end up being their demise, and that's how we'll be victorious in the long run. And the fact that a lot of the people that we're dealing with are pretty stupid. I will admit that. But when you guys said the game has been rigged to this degree, what can we do? Right? Really, at this point, the only thing that we can hope for is like for Jeff Sessions to come into the picture and it's like, yo, no, this isn't gonna fly. And do his damn job. But bank fraud isn't that big of a deal, and it's kind of hard to prove. And so, like, he can just transfer the money back. He has plenty of it. They might fine him. He might take a plea bargain. But I can tell you, just as a general rule, when someone is allowed to walk off with bail, and all they have to do is render their passports, like, it's Imran Awan. He could get a fake passport if he wanted to. But it looks legitimately like Imran Awan is being set up so that he can not necessarily plan for his escape, but organize and collaborate and collaborate with his attorneys and with his family to get their story straight. Because when you're in jail, you can't just make phone calls every 5 minutes to Pakistan. But when you have your laptop and your phone, your cell phone, you can call, tell your wife, this is what we're going to say. This is how we're going to handle it. This is how we're going to move forward. They're going to get us on this, but it's okay because we can slide on this. You're going to be fine. Don't bring your ass back here. But hey, send some money if you still got some of that. Like, tell my brothers to do this. Tell them not to go here. Like, them releasing him on bail was probably the most damning thing to do for this case. Because, well, for one, it's inconsistent with how these situations are treated. Because, like I've said before, he is a flight risk. He tried to leave the country under federal investigation. There's not really any more to debate about that. And the U.S. attorney agrees. So, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. It's about that time for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, donate to the One Follow $1 campaign. If you're in YouTube, drop a super chat if you can. All the love in the world to all of you. Thank you all so much for watching. For those of you who are into sports, my sports show is tomorrow. I am likely going to live stream it from YouTube as well, just because, well, it's fun. So I'm a live streaming on Facebook as well, but I'm a live streaming on YouTube. And hopefully you all, if you like basketball, tune into that. We're going to talk a little bit about Kaepernick. We're going to talk about basketball, the recent trades, all that good stuff. Yes, I'm a sports aficionado too. But once again, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow night as well. I'm probably going to I have to do another show tomorrow night, and then I have my live show on the radio on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank y'all so much for watching, and always remember, find your balance. Peace. YouTube, y'all gonna stare at me for a little bit longer because my computer freezing up. I hope everybody enjoyed the show though. Mm-mm-mm.